If your ex is an avoidant person, then you might have difficulty when the time comes to reconnect. They tend to be more stubborn, less able to admit their mistakes, and more difficult to reach. But there's actually a few reasons that avoidant exes may be more likely to give you another shot if you're able to break through these walls. Hey guys, I of course am Brad Browning, author of the X Factor Guide, and I've helped thousands of people get a second chance with their ex, even in seemingly impossible situations. So if that's what you want, please don't hesitate to like this video and subscribe to my channel for a brand new free advice video every week. So for now, let's talk about your avoidant ex. First, what does it actually mean to be avoidant? Well, to answer that, we have to talk a bit about attachment styles. Honestly, I could talk about this all day, so leave me a comment if you want me to make a whole video about breakups and attachment styles in the future. But for this one, I'll keep it simple. Basically, attachment styles are how we bond with another person in a relationship. Now, there are 3 attachment styles: secure, anxious, and avoidant. It's basically about the way that you form attachments in any relationship. Do you cling to your partner, desperate to get closer to them because you're terrified that they're going to leave you? Then you have an anxious attachment style. Do you put up walls to try to keep the other person out and deny affection in order to keep your distance? Well, then you're avoidant. Do you feel like you're easily able to maintain your boundaries and build intimacy? Then chances are that you have a secure attachment style. But of course, if you are watching this video, then that means that your ex has probably shown an avoidant attachment style. First off, avoidant exes tend to be the most common type of ex, and they're more likely to be the exes that you want a second chance with. This is because avoidant people are more likely to end a relationship suddenly and seemingly out of nowhere because they're prone to running from their problems. Now, if you're not sure if your ex is avoidant, here's a few other hallmarks of avoidant people generally. Number 1, they put up walls. Now, obviously, it's great to have boundaries. They are vital to a healthy relationship. But walls are a different story. Walls are boundaries that are unspoken, rigid, and get in the way of proper closeness and intimacy. This includes things like refusing to communicate feelings and then, exploding when questioned, giving the silent treatment, and closing down when you try to discuss your feelings or needs. Number 2, they tend to run hot and cold. Avoidant people will be loving and expressive one minute, but when you get too close, they'll shut you out and go completely cold. Now, this can be extremely confusing for somebody who's used to more secure attachments. And thirdly, they struggle with emotional intimacy. Avoidant people struggle most when it comes to opening up emotionally and expressing their feelings. This is often a defense mechanism stemming from early childhood trauma, and it's very difficult for them and their partners. As with most things, being avoidant is a spectrum. Some people put up stronger walls than others, some change attachment styles over time, and most avoidant people are able to overcome these issues and create healthy relationships with the right person. But you do need to be aware going into this process that your avoidant ex isn't likely to change even if you are able to win them back. This is a part of who they've always been, and there's nothing that you can do to completely change their personality. So you do have to ask yourself, is this something I'm willing to live with long term? And then there's something else to consider. Is your ex actually avoidant, or are they just avoiding you? Now, think carefully here, because it's easy to misdiagnose a cold ex as being avoidant rather than just being done with you and done with the relationship. So you need to look back on your relationship carefully and see if they showed signs of being avoidant before your breakup, because it's pretty common for an ex to put up walls and just straight up avoid you after a breakup. In fact, this is healthy. Now, if you've realized that your ex is not avoidant, then check out any of the other related videos down below to see some of my other videos about how to get your ex back. They're probably going to be more relevant to your situation. And for those of you dealing with a situation that's totally unique, totally out of the ordinary, please consider signing up for my one-on-one coaching program over at breakupbrad.com/coaching. I believe I have a couple of spots open right now, at least as of this recording, so please sign up now to get access to my personalized advice from yours truly. Again, you can find out all the details and sign up now at breakupbrad.com/coaching. So now that you know you're dealing with an avoidant ex, how does this change your approach to getting them back? And how are you supposed to get them back if they're so good at avoiding their feelings and keeping you at a distance? Well, first off, let's talk about why there may be more hope than you actually expect. I like to think of it this way. Since avoidants, they run away at the first sign of trouble, they're more likely to leave a relationship with unfinished business. They didn't have a really good reason for breaking up, so they may still be interested in trying again under the right circumstances. And because there was no huge protracted fight that led to the end of the relationship, chances are they still think of you fondly and remember the relationship largely as a good thing. They'll most likely blame themselves for the breakup, and often with good reason, so they think that if they're able to get out of their own way, then maybe trying again isn't such a bad idea. So, what do you do next? Well, first off, you need to be firm on no contact after a breakup. Spend at least 30 days separate from your ex completely. No, staying in contact in any way unless you absolutely have to. No text messages, no phone calls, no emails, and especially no in-person meetups. Now, this is something that I advise with every breakup, but it's especially important with avoidant exes for a couple of reasons. First off, avoidant people need their own space. One of the reasons that they end things in the first place is often because they feel smothered. So if you disconnect completely, you're giving them a chance to reset and see that what their life will be like if you're truly gone from it. Secondly, avoidant exes will try to keep you in their lives in a more limited capacity. Now, while this may give you hope of something more, the truth is this is exactly where they're most comfortable. Since they've decided true intimacy is not worth the trouble, they'll be perfectly happy having you as someone they text, once a week and see through mutual friends. And this is exactly why you shouldn't be friends with your avoidant ex. This is never going to go anywhere, and usually it's just a recipe for disaster in the long run. Instead, stick to no contact, and if they try to push for more, make it clear to them that you're not interested in being just friends with them. So once no contact is over, I still recommend the typical reattraction phase that I've always advocated for. Send a few texts, keep it light and funny, and slowly build rapport. With an avoidant ex, you need to be extra cautious here when it comes to how frequently and how intensely you actually do reach out to them. Keep it to a minimum and let them take the lead as much as possible. And when it does feel right, when the time feels right, then you can push for an in-person meeting and capitalize on your natural chemistry to take you the rest of the way. And once you've reconnected, now is the time to change your approach. I often advise against having intense conversations with your ex this early on in the process, but I do think sometimes things are different when it comes to avoidant exes. You do need to be clear and direct with them about what you want. They really appreciate this approach because it avoids ambiguity and hurt feelings. And by the same token, you need to communicate your boundaries and needs to them in as simple a language as possible. I know you may have been avoiding this because you're afraid to scare your ex off, and that is totally understandable, but there is one thing you need to know about avoidant people. They're looking for a partner with a great deal of self-respect and independence. They need somebody who's able and willing to stand up to them when they're being unreasonable. They want clarity, and that's what you're offering by being honest with them about your own needs and your own boundaries. This is a great alternative to letting them take the lead and then getting anxious when they won't let you get closer to them. This leads to either resentment or clinginess on your part, and that's going to create an even bigger issue down the line. At the same time, you need to nurture your own independence to take pressure off of them and the relationship in general to be your one source of happiness. Unfortunately, a relationship with an avoidant person is going to be lacking in emotional connection at times, and you'll need to find that in other places in your life. Now, I know this may be unsatisfying to a lot of people, and that's why you need to be very sure that you're able to make this compromise before you restart a relationship with somebody with an avoidant attachment style. There are plenty of situations where this is just not going to be viable, and that is totally okay. You need to understand that some relationships, not necessarily yours, but many, just aren't meant to be, and moving on may be your best option. But if you do give it another try, know that I'm here for you and I'm happy to help you through this difficult journey. And with that in mind, please head over to breakupbrad.com and check out my full free video presentation there detailing exactly what your next step should be to get your ex back into your arms. Again, you can watch that for free at breakupbrad.com. I'm Brad Browning, guys. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and commenting, and I will see you again in my next video. Bye for now.